my taskbar was getting a bit cluttered with icons, and so this morning I thought there must be a better solution. And there is. This thing here is the launcher I made, vibe-coded with Google Gemini, and as you can see we have groups here, system, utils, media. You can configure them yourself. This is the config file. Looks a bit complicated, but it doesn't really. This here is a comment line that I put in. You can just delete this if you don't want it. And down here we have the groups. Group system, group utils, media, dev. These are just demo links. I don't actually use these. They were created by Gemini. And this file is checked whenever I invoke this. So for example, you see here dev. Save. There we go. Developer. Well, let's delete this entire block. There we go. Or we can also change the overall width. Let's say 10%. 0% works too. 20, 30. Yeah. Took me like 5 hours to get this done because there was always something that was imperfect. You can also click Shift, then you will have the properties, which is useful for shortcuts, for example. Or you can click Control, then you get the containing folder of the respective item. You can also change the background color. If you do this wrong, it falls back to this color. If a link doesn't exist, you get a nice error message in the configured color. You can select with keyboard, press enter, then it starts. And you can also press Control, or whatever is configured here, which does the following: nothing, except if only one item is visible. You know, if you want to control this with one hand, I'm using CTRL+SPACE right now to invoke this, but you can configure it. So I would type Command and Control again. Why this? Because what if I've mistyped here, or more things are visible, and then I would press enter and the wrong thing starts. I don't want this. So now the key does nothing, only if you have an exact hit. Again, this may be in the way, so you can just leave this part empty, and then the feature will be off. Demonstration. Nothing's happening, because this thing hot reloads. You can also change the key with which you invoke it. For example, this would be Alt+Space. Now I have to press Control+Space still because the program hasn't yet realized the change, but now it has. I press Control+Space, nothing's happening. I press Alt+Space, there we go. Or F12. These are just examples, you can put your own. This is AutoHotkey 2 syntax, so you have to look that up to find out whatever key you want to use. Now Control+Space, which is the default, has returned. So you can create arbitrary groups, and if it's too many, or you set a lower window width, then they will wrap around and you get a more vertical window. And how do you install this? Super simple, you just have to double click here. And so that you don't have to do that on every system start, you can just put it in your startup folder. So press Windows key and R to execute a command, and then you say shell:startup. And this is my startup folder. Then you click here, click the right mouse button and drag it over, which is a nice trick. For example, with archives, which allows you to unpack them directly, you will get a context menu. And then I can say whatever. But now I want to create a shortcut. And shazam, next time my system starts, this will be running. And what does it do? Well, that's the script. And since I have AutoHotkey 2 installed, which everybody should know and use because it's glorious, if you don't know it, you're the outlier. Just Google for it. Anyway, so all it takes is to start the script, and then you're armed for Control+Space or whatever is configured here. And this file, shortcuts.txt, just has to be in the same folder where the script is. So let's go through the features. Here you can configure the key combination that invokes the launcher. For example, like this. Then it's Alt+Space. Or if you configure nothing, then it will just fall back to Control+Space. So that's how you get the launcher visible. Then we can configure the width, or the color, or the opacity, and there's a minimum opacity, so you won't get lost, don't worry. this again is the feature that allows to invoke the one remaining item, in this case with control. But you can also put something else here. And then finally we get to the shortcuts. You create a group, and then you say this is what shall be written on screen, and that is what shall be started. For example, this. And as you can see here, the configured icon that I gave the shortcut was actually used. So yeah, I will now reconfigure everything here and on my work computer to declutter everything, and will live a happy and rich Windows life. Alrighty, now what does this look like? A taskbar with nothing on it except the one application I have open. Those were the days, huh? And this is what I've set up for myself now. And I also added this here, which allows me to just edit the shortcuts file. You know, the very file that controls this. And maybe you notice that I changed the launcher shortcut to this. This was an example for Windows key and Z, and so this is Windows key and space, because control space happens to be a command in DaVinci that opens a list of effects and nodes and such. So it was in the way, because AutoHotkey overrides it all. Windows key and space, by the way, changes this here, and so that happens accidentally. Now it doesn't, because I've grabbed it from my little launcher here. So what upsides do we have? I have many more icons here than I had down here, because there was just not enough space. And down here I would have had groups effectively, some part about sound, some part about gaming and so forth, but here I have actual groups and I can see the names of the things instead of just the icons. What I can't say here is whether a thing is open, but I don't need to, because I can see that down here now. By the way, while I was cleaning this up, I added another option, which is to change the color of the cursor here. Now, if you set this up for yourself, you should know that you will sometimes make heavy use of shortcuts, you know, Windows shortcuts. Oh, by the way, while we're at it, let's do this. Open folder in Explorer. And do this. And do that. Okay. Okay, so next time I click here, it will just open this instead of the text file. You can open the text file from here. Why have I done this now? Because I added a supplemental folder, not for you, for me, but you'll have one like this yourself, whatever you will call it. I mean, it's just a name, just a path. Because some applications are of this special Windows kind that are lying in some special Windows folder which don't have their own icon, like Affinity or the weather app from Microsoft, or the Soma FM player. So I made a shortcut there and then I added an icon. But I didn't have an icon, so what did I do? I created one. And that can actually be done with Windows. You don't even need an executable for that. Here, that's an example file. I will drag that here and pop, now I have the icon file. That's all. I drag it on the batch file, which then invokes the PowerShell file. Both of these are scripts. They will also be in the description, so you can do this yourself. Because these special Windows apps, they come with some subfolders which have some assets, some PNGs, and there's usually a logo in there. Or you just make your own, it doesn't matter. I mean, there are many ways to make an icon. For example, first today I went to ChatGPT, dragged my PNG file in and said, hey, I need an icon file from this. And I got an icon file as a download, but I didn't pay, so that was my one icon for the day or something. Pretty awesome what you can do with these things. I mean, the entire thing has been written by Gemini Flash and later by Gemini Pro. And I paid for neither of them. And now all of you can enjoy this. Have fun, or else. See you again next time.